All right, let's talk about creating a fade out object. This will go right off of the timeline video we just have. I probably could have put it in there, but for sake of time, I'll make this just shorter in an add-on. So real quick, let's just look at the effect we're looking for. I cobbled together little random generated boxes that just blink and are kind of annoying, probably seizure inducing. And then just put a fade out on it. It just fades to black, and that's all we want to have accomplished for right now. All right, so let's talk about what's necessary to do it. We had a timeline before. So what we did was we created a sprite called Fade, and this sprite, as you can see, has the width and height of a default screen, and it's centered at the center of the sprite and also what's going to be the center of the room. So when I look at object fade in a create event, it's initialized for image alpha to equal 0, and then whenever it's created, it'll go to the X 512 and Y 384, which is again the center of the room, so it'll be exactly centered. And I set a Boolean fade underscore out equal to false. Okay, and we'll look at the step function, and it simply says if fade out is true, then clamp the image alpha between 0 and 1, increment it by 0.01 every single frame, which is 30 frames per second, which is 1/30th of a second. So it's just going to gradually bring image alpha up to 1. And all I really have to do is create it in the room now. So just in my timeline, which again we created before, but in my timeline 0, I just said create instance XY object fade, which it won't show up because the alpha is 0. And then at step 150, fade out, I just said object underscore fade dot fade out is equal to true. Remember from the last video, since the timeline is currently running from the controller, which is the only thing that I have in the room, then I've got to use dot notation if I'm trying to affect somebody else's object's variables. In this case, object fade is not in the final room. It's not controlling the timeline, so it has to use dot notation to turn its variable fade out to true. And that really does it. That's all we need to do. Object controller that's running the timelines in the room, and as you saw before, it fades out after about 5 seconds. That's good. Thanks.